Okay, this video is me showing you our new gravel and sand filter. I used to use a lot of filter pads and it actually worked really well. My other video got a lot of hits, a lot of views, but I was watching Levon and a few other people and I thought, let's give this a shot. It just looks a little bit easier to clean. So what I've got there is still the 100-gallon Rubbermaid stock tank, and in the bottom there is a 3/4 inch PVC manifold, and there's probably holes drilled in it every half an inch or so, and the intake comes in right over top of it and splits the water into two different directions. I'm not sure if that's the right thing to do, but that's just what I did. And this was the first attempt at building this. And it worked well. It truly cleaned up the water. Our water was just nasty. So I went out and got some expanded metal and put it together. And the next part of this video will show that installed. Now, the drawback to this was I had to get two different sizes. But if you look at it, the holes are kind of big. And I even went out and got some river rock, some bigger river rock, but it seemed to let too many small pebbles fall all the way through, and that tended to kind of clog up the manifold, and that's where it's going to be going back in that corner. Well, there it is again. Now I've got a couple 2-inch pieces PVC holding up the whole thing to help it a little bit. And those white things were just my attempt at DIY biomaterial, which is little end caps from computer equipment. Typically, you just take them off and throw them away. And I saved a bunch and cut them in half and threw them in there. Saved them for probably 18 months. Well, here it is with all the gravel on it. It's probably only about 4 or 5, maybe 6 inches of gravel. The big stuff's on the bottom and the smaller stuff's at the top. Those white bags are the old filter material. So I start to fill it, and it worked great. Actually, it cleared the water up amazingly. And this is it after running for about a week, I guess. The water is in the pond was sparkling, and there's a little barley thing there. And those are the other blue filter material I used to use. But the manifold just didn't seem to work very well. This is I stuck my GoPro to show you what it looks like after about a week or so. But the manifold didn't seem to aerate very well, and I just thought there was too much crap in the bottom. So I decided I was going to have to yank it all apart. But it's DIY, so you learn and you go at it again. So that's what the water looked like in the tank, and I hadn't put the lid back on. Now this is what I did with our pump. We've got I think it's a Barrett pump or something like that, 3,500 gallons per minute, and I found two plant baskets at Lowe's. Cut a hole in the side so I could get the tube out, and I just tie wrapped it together, and I was going to see what it would do. And actually it worked pretty good. And so this is going to go in the pond. Now the next part of this is after taking the whole daggone thing apart. Now I had purchased actual bio balls. I think about I want to say a gallon worth. It was a big box. I don't know. It's the little black balls that everyone seems to get. Anyway, I pulled all the gravel out, rinsed it out, sort of, kind of tried to do a fairly decent job. And there's the steel expanded metal, a little bit of rust, but not going to argue with it. It was not galvanized, which is just a no-no. And it's fine. That was after a week. It probably will last 3 or 4 years. And that's another piece of aluminum that has these little holes in it that I'm using on top of that grate there. So this really will limit what can fall underneath. Check out those little holes, and I just got some rivets and riveted it together and cut it. I actually cut it with electrician scissors, and that's the expanded metal grate back in on top of the manifold and the bio balls, and the next thing that goes in is that metal grate. And I got cut a couple holes here, but the next part shows it in there. And as you can see, it's a lot finer, so none of the rocks will fall through. Maybe just the sand type stuff. Um, and then there it is with it filled back up with all the gravel. What a pain in the ass that was. Bad back and all. I mean, it probably took 6 hours just to get to here, working slow and not not hurting myself. That's the outflow plug. I've got it capped off, and so as the water comes in, it will flow back. Okay, well, there's the rocks, and back, and there's the rocks. That's my cleaning stuff. Anyway, um, the water will go out of that hole you see in the right there in the corner, and it's all gravity fed. And here comes the water coming back up, and it's clear. I mean, it's just absolutely remarkable how clear it is. And this is showing it a little while later, and I'm just throwing more water into the pond. That's the outflow pipe that I put on. It allows me to, if I uncap it, yeah, the water just flows off the deck. So I'm just filling the pond up through the mechanism, through the gravity feed. Just makes it easier. And this was today actually. That's after I think 2 weeks, maybe 3, and I've already gone ahead and run the vacuum through it once, and then I thought, hey, I better grab the camera. And I cut the tube down. That's the tube that runs off the deck, and I think, yeah, and I've got the that white cap going back to the pond is actually capped off, and there I am with the vacuum, stirring up the water and the dirt, and it's just a shop vac, and I've got that thing rolling. And what happens is, well, there goes the water. I lower that tube, and it just, boy, that water was stinking too. And I've got it set up so I can actually lift that. I do that here in a second, but that's the water flying just off the deck, um, and I can lift it, and it just stops going. So that allows me to, you know, blow the water a little bit, and up and down, just get all the muck out of there. So I think I ran the vacuum on it, I want to say 3 times, and that is what it looks like after. Now there's a lot of green crap on the top, but I'm really not worried about that. Maybe that's just showing the pond with the water. The next time I actually may use the vacuum to suck it all up. But there's the lid, which barely fits, of course, but that's not a bad deal. And this is the water with the fish. This video was from the very first time I tried this, before I had to tear it apart. But it's surprising how many fish we actually have in there. We just were never aware. And this part, more fish, but there's the pump basket at work. And so yeah, that's the GoPro underwater, and all the fish. So anyway, hope you enjoyed it. Comment, leave some suggestions, subscribe. I've got some more videos coming up of our fish tanks in the basement. Thanks again for watching.